India will attack China surprisingly, says China, and also it says that India is the one who is leading the US against China. Also, India is expecting a two-front battle with China and Pakistan, says an IAF officer. At the time of rising tensions along the line of actual control with China and the increasing tension with Pakistan, Indian Air Force on Friday said it was ready for undertaking operations simultaneously on both the fronts. China should stay alert as India can launch a surprise attack, said a retired Chinese general. In an article published on Li Jian, a defense-related social media account of Wang issued the warning saying that the danger of the conflict has increased and with the incidents in the Taiwan Strait and the upcoming US presidential election might present India with an opportunity to do something big. India needs only 50,000 soldiers at the line of actual control. But now instead of withdrawing troops before the winter comes, India has added 100,000 more troops in the Ladakh region, Wang quoted in the article. He further said that India has tripled its troops along the LAC, which could easily cross into China in few years, as they are stationed within 50 kilometers of the Chinese territory. A prominent Chinese strategic affairs expert who recently carried out a survey in China along with India-China border has warned of the prospect of worsening relations with India and called for a reset of China's India strategy to deal with fundamentally a changed relationship. The comments made by Lu Zhongyi, a scholar at the Shanghai Institute of International Studies and fellow of the Renmin University in Beijing, in an interview with the Chinese website have been widely circulated in China this past week. Mr. Wang, a former deputy commander of Nanjing military region, which is now part of the Eastern Terror Command, said that China cannot afford to let its guard down before mid-November. He said India had occupied commanding heights at various points along the LAC and upgraded infrastructures at an accelerated pace since 2014, suggesting China's move this summer were aimed as a counter. He said he had visited Yarang in Tibet, in the Sikkim sector of the border, but did not go near the Pangong Lake in Ladakh. His message to the Chinese public was that the relations were, even before the May tensions, on downward trajectory, as seen in India's move in April to tighten curbs on the investment from China. And following the flare-up on the border, he argued that this is all more clear. He also said that we may still continue to pursue the line of thinking that the main pressure we are facing is from United States and not India, he said. But the fact is, India and United States today have become a single entity. In some respects, it is India which is leading the US and is becoming a leading anti-China force. India's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh on Saturday said, "Today in 2020, Indian armed forces engage with Chinese forces on an equal footing and have developed strong capabilities to give a befitting reply." At a forward airbase from where Pakistan is 50 kilometers and the strategic Daulat Beg Alde in 80 kilometers, an activity of fighters and transport aircrafts and helicopters is going on day and night with the Indian Air Force. Due to the tensions along the border with China, fighter aircrafts are operating both day and night, and the transport aircraft are continuously flying in and out of the Air Force base with troops, rations, and ammunition in the eastern Ladakh. Earlier, the airbase in the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir came under watch after a Chinese refueling aircraft landed in Sharkudur, Balochistan region in June of 2020. So what do you think of China saying India might attack China surprisingly while the US elections or a Taiwan-China conflict? Will India face a two-frontal battle with China and Pakistan? In a strategic move, India and Australia have signed a comprehensive strategic partnership deal to join hands against China. While India and Australia are standing tough against China in these uncertain times, this remarkable move makes this deal a most important one. India's peace talk with China is still not yet going positive. This landmark deal will impact China hardly, as world's biggest democracies as the US, India, the UK, France, Canada and Australia are joining hands against China. The mutual logistics support agreement between India and Australia gives a pass to India's growing military power in the Indian Ocean region. In this deal, India can use Australia's air bases and naval bases to refuel, rearm, repair, dock and ammunition their ships and air forces of India. India also already has a similar pact with United States, France, Indonesia, Singapore. On last week of Thursday, India's Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi and the Australian Prime Minister Mr. Scott Morrison had an important first-time virtual summit. In this summit, both sides agreed to increase their military interoperability through the defense exercises through their arrangement of concerning mutual logistics support. Australia also said that it will back India's candidacy for the permanent membership of reformed UN Security Council and India's candidature for the non-permanent seat at UNSC for the 2011-2022 terms. Australia also expressed its strong support for India's membership for the Nuclear Surprise Group, which China strongly opposes India's inclusion. Although China is the biggest buyer of Australia's export, there have been trade frictions between the two recently. Indian troops are locked in a standoff with the Chinese troops on their disputed border high in the Himalayas. This comes at the time when India is increasingly concerned by its huge trade deficit with China and the Beijing's rapidly expanding footprint in South Asia through its Belt and Road Initiative. With this deal, India gets all access to the military bases in Australia, which means literally India gets a military base in Australia. India is also considering Australia to take part in the upcoming naval exercise with US, Japan and India in the Pacific and the Indian Ocean. In 2007, Australia withdrew from the naval exercises because of China's strong opposing. So what do you think of India's getting a military base in Australia? Can India benefit from these bases located in foreign soils?
Post your comments below. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.